Hello, everybody. This is Boris Schlossberg. Welcome to the Trading Battle. We take some of the best traders in the world and pit them against each other for an hour for fun, profit, and charity so you could learn the best trading techniques in the world and enjoy the markets. Today, we have our second edition of our crypto battle, and I'm very, very excited to introduce Jun Loi from CryptoTrader SG and Alejandro Pérez from Blue Capital. Two very, very different style traders. Hi, guys. How you doing? Hi, June. Hi, Alejandro.
Hi, Boris.
Hi, good to see you. So we have a very, very different style of battle today because Alejandro is much more of a programmatic, systematic trader, and June is a discretionary trader. So we're going to have a battle of machines versus wits today in the crypto markets. It's going to be very interesting. They have definitely very different approaches and very interesting techniques, which we're going to discuss in great detail here today. But I just wanted to say hello to you and just tell us a little bit about yourself, Alejandro, how you got into trading and what was your journey been to crypto and just generally your view on crypto as an asset class.
Yep.
Let us go ahead. We'll start with Alejandro first.
Yep. Thank you, Boris, for that intro. So I started trading. Is it now 8 years ago? But in
Mm,
2012, right out of high school, I took a leap year. Sorry, a gap year in there in order to basically decide what I'm going to do. I was planning to go into university in another country, and so I had to wait. It was in Australia. I had to wait for the school to start and to see if I was going to get accepted. And during that time, I literally just went to the internet and trying to find something to do for 6 months at least to 1 year, and trying to decide what I'm going to do with my life. Right out
So
of high
you
school.
became a trader via YouTube, basically.
No. It was I didn't actually get into YouTube videos until way later. I started by
Okay,
searching the term "how to make money online," and I
okay,
found forex in one of those. In the old times, it was a lot easier to find those Ponzi
right,
scams
right.
online in the front page of YouTube. Sorry, on
Mm,
Google. So I started with that. I went into a page of one of those that offered like 1%, 2% return per day, something like
right.
that. If you put $10,000, don't the basic super
Yeah.
scam
I
place.
do. I do.
Uh,
I do.
and I was like, okay, this forex trading thing looks interesting. Let's check it properly, right? Because I don't trust the first result, anyways. And I went and started with education in baby peeps and forums like that, and started
Mm,
learning. And then at the time, I ended up deciding that I wanted to pursue a career in finance in Mexico. So I
hmm
stayed there, and I was working in a company from one of my cousins. My cousin started a company by himself, and during that time, I was okay. Let's do something meanwhile. So I worked there, and it took me was like 6 months to from that time that I was in that gap year. I saved the money there. Then I saved $1,000. I sent it to the broker via bank transfer, and in about a month, while I was working in the company, in my cousin's company, I was still
Yes.
trading and everything. And in about a month, I duplicated the money just by looking at
Oh,
the
oh!
Mexican
I
peso.
was expecting to tell me in a month I lost it all, but that's good. Okay, I
No,
guess
that,
that comes
that's
later.
that yeah, exactly. That comes the next week after that. So
Right.
in about a month, I duplicated the money by looking at a simple relationship between the Mexican peso, like a weekly relationship. But
Mm,
didn't know anything about risk management, anything. I was putting like two lot trades, three lot trades with a $1,000 account in Mexican peso
yes.
USD, which
Yes.
it's pretty
Yeah.
volatile.
Very, very conservative margin. Yeah.
And 1 week after I duplicated it, I managed to make the account into a $100 account or some amount like that, really really small amount. And then I stopped. I decided to stop. I need to understand what I'm doing. I need to find
Right.
a way to never have this again.
Right.
And that's when I started to actually go into the baby peeps course that I found in at some point in the past, and
Right.
actually learn about risk management, trying to understand what I'm really doing instead of just clicking like, oh, this looks like it's going up, this goes down, click button, and that's it, right? So
Right.
that's how it started my journey into
Got it. Got
properly
it.
learning, right?
Just think, if you started googling today, you'd probably be an Amazon reseller instead of a trader. Uh, June, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Now, you came to the market a little bit differently because you actually were an equity trader before you moved into crypto. Tell us a little bit about your journey into the markets and how it started.
Great. Thank you, Boris, for the introduction. Great to be here. Yeah, so I actually started trading equities at first, and that was with the Singapore Stock Exchange. So that was actually about 3 years ago, and I looked at equities for a couple of months, made some money, but then I realized I was just looking at the charts every day, and it wasn't moving, right? Because in Singapore, we have a smaller equity market, and there isn't just as much liquidity as markets compared to the US market and the Hong Kong market, of course. But then I stumbled upon crypto. I believe it was towards the end of 2018. And that was when I actually joined CryptoTrader SG as a student, right? I started learning about crypto. I started knowing what it was actually all about. Yeah, prior to that, I only heard people talk about it, but I didn't actually know about Bitcoin. So I actually became a student of CryptoTrader SG, and that was early 2020, I believe. No, early 2019. And thereafter, about a year later, I actually joined them as a trainer. So I actually I kind of found a liking to looking at the charts and trading discretionary and excitement that the crypto market gives.
Yeah.
Right, because it moves every day, 24/7. You know, you can even have $100 candle, in minutes. So
In
the
seconds,
kind of
sometimes, yes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So the kind of volatility and the dynamic nature of the market really attracted me to it. And furthermore, we've just only seen crypto, rise up massively over the past couple of years. And recovered from that 2017 crash.
Right.
So I had a lot of hopes for crypto in terms of the fundamentals, and in terms of the technicals. It also really attracted me to want to trade it and profit from the market based on technical analysis. So
Right.
now I'm actually a mentor with CryptoTrader SG, and I basically mentor new students and educate them, right, about technical analysis specifically, right, and how to approach the markets, from a risk management strategy as well as a psychological perspective. Yep.
Now, what are your primary tools for technical analysis? What are the things that you use the most on a day-to-day basis?
Awesome. I think on a day-to-day basis, it will be the bread and butter support and resistance lines.
Right.
Personally, I like the horizontal flips, such as support turn resistance or vice versa.
Right.
I also like to use the volatility indicators, such as ATR, Bollinger Bands, just to get a sensing of how fast the market is moving at this specific amount of time. And that also informs me about how I should size my trades based on the volatility that's happening. Yeah. So
Okay.
I would say it's really just simple market structure, support, resistance, and just a couple of volatility indicators. Yeah.
Oh, sounds good. So before we get deeper into your individual styles and your trading, let's lay down the first challenge of the day. The first challenge of the day today is most tokens were in the red over the weekend, to say the least. We had a kind of a micro crash in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And the question is, let's pick your best idea on anything, just sort of the whole universe of crypto. What is your favorite trade to start our challenges? We'll go with you, June, first, and then we'll go to Alejandro on the challenges. Go ahead. Tell us what you want to do.
Great. Yeah. So for challenge number 1, my pick will be Ethereum, right? And Ethereum has actually been on the roll since, right, the start of this year, in fact. And in the middle of the year, actually, we saw Ethereum dive back down all the way to sub 2K. But it has since then kind of recovered well. And most recently, over the dump on the weekend, we've seen Ethereum break below 4,000. All right, but
Right.
on the daily charts, if we actually look at it, right, it has actually held this 4K level pretty well. All right, it's kind of closed above 4K every single day for the last month, in fact. So it's looking pretty resilient, and the uptrend is looking healthy. All right, and we got that classic support turn. The resistance turn support at 4,000. So I would think that Ethereum is going to be my best play. And looking at the hype about NFTs, metaverse and all that, it's all still mainly built on the Ethereum network. So I'm still kind of bullish on Ethereum fundamentally. And technically, it's also showing the signs of this 4,000 region being held. So I actually took some trades past weekend, and I think this would still be the coin to go to for this couple of days, even after that dump we saw. Yeah.
Right. You can see nicely on the chart here how we broke above the 4,000, came back to test it, had the micro crash, staying above 4,000, and sort of just from a technical point of view, and of course you gave the fundamental background that Ethereum is the platform of choice now in crypto. That it essentially, effectively, as long as it holds that support at 4,000, it just has ample room now to retest that 5,000 high. So it's a very clean, good looking price structure. Makes a lot of sense. So that's your first opening trade along Ethereum. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about the hold times and average duration for all your trades in just a minute. But that's your opening trade. Now let's go to Alejandro. Tell us what you're going to do. What are you thinking as a trade?
Yeah, well, in my scanner, it's also Ethereum. So let's not start with that, because that would be, pretty much copying what what June did. So if we go to my charts, here I also have Tron, which is another trade that my algo, the algo that I'm using for here, it's showing good, buying potential. We had a pretty big downtrend in Tron before, but unlike June, I am looking at a much shorter time frame. As you can see here, we're using the 1 hour chart. We don't really look at that much to that higher time frame charts. So I'm looking at the 1 hour chart, and I am looking to try to get big jumps in mostly in volatility. Jumps like this one here in November were pretty good because they are a small densely packed zone and then high volatility that comes back to another plateau, and then they take profit. So I'm looking for
something. Can I just ask you a question? Those purple circles that we're looking at the chart, is that just simply marking the area, or is that some kind of a volatility signal to you? That
it's just for me to make it a lot easier to see my alerts.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I figured it was a mark. I didn't know if it was maybe perhaps an indicator.
This is just part of my algo. It just makes it a lot easier to spot the trades because sometimes trading these small arrows.
I agree with you. It's a nice UI hack. I appreciate it. It definitely makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. They have multiple purposes, not only for that, but also for how I actually trade in the markets with the algos. So I'm looking here, since this is trading battle and we have to take a trade live, we cannot go retroactively and say, okay, we took a trade here in the the algo opened it. I will be taking a trade, here at market, or waiting a bit until this low here, this small channel, just with the bias that we recently broke this balance zone, this horizontal support resistance area that we have seen strong in the past, and also that my algo is already long there, and due to maintaining risk consistency, I will be placing my stop loss here, which would be consistent with the exit strategy my algo has, even though it will be closer or tighter than my original base.
Right, because to be fair to you, this is a stretched out trade. And this is actually sort of a good example. I mean, I kind of want to talk about this a little bit because I think so many traders, I'm forcing Alejandro to take this trade, but I think if I put it, if I was actually making him do it in his own account, he probably would not do it, even if it looks quite okay. Not because the trade doesn't have potential, but because there's actually too much risk in this trade. You are late, and I think a good maxim in trading to a lot of traders is if you're late, you're wrong most of the time. Even if you're right, you're wrong because you are assuming too much risk for this particular scenario to play itself out. Like that at the purple circle, it was a perfect entry because you can clearly see there's a double bottom there. That market structure is very well defined. If it was going to be a little bit of consolidation, it's fine. Now it's had actually already a big run. He's already in profit effectively in the trade, and he's over his skis basically coming in now. It's a momentum trade. He's buying high, but there's lots of opportunity here for this thing to retrace back to the purple circle, take him out, and then continue higher. So still a profitable trade that could turn into a negative trade. That's what I mean about
if I may
chasing.
add, Boris, if I may add, I am adding price action to back up this trade because I really like the trade. So I have been adding the price action part of the support and resistance and trailing my stop loss, basically, essentially, right? Trying to have a dynamic reward to risk situation. But if this was not the battle, I will have to take a trade here with the algos. In fact, I'm sure my account took a trade here in the algos in my personal account.
Right, correct. But my point is, taking it now is nowhere near as attractive as taking it when the algo gave you the signal, because you still have potential, but it's just not nearly as good a risk reward ratio at this point.
Yeah, it could always go like this trade that I showed before.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Like
but it can also go right back into support, stop you out, and then go like this. And so you have three scenarios: one where it works, one where it works but it stops you out, and one where it doesn't work. And we always want the scenarios where it's 2 out of 3 are positive scenarios. That's all I'm trying to say. So
that would be the one that I would be like, I like it, but I didn't want to be a copycat and say I would be long Ethereum because that would be too. But if I, the one that I would be taking in compliance with my plan still would be Ethereum, because we are basically at the entry price right now. And
great. So that's your entry price of your algo, and it gives you an entry. So we have Tron, Ethereum. So so for your trade right now, both gentlemen are going long Ethereum, I believe, right? We're both long Ethereum.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's our opening trade. Sounds good. Great. All right, let's talk a little bit about structure, ideas, and just your basic setup. So, Jun, you referred to this a little bit, but let's just look at your charts and talk about the flip trade, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
We saw this in Ethereum, but maybe you can walk us through Bitcoin as well. Maybe we can take a look at the Bitcoin idea. So here, and maybe you could just walk people through what is a flip trade, why it's so interesting, and why it offers such a compelling risk reward entry proposition. So here's Bitcoin daily charts going back pretty much through the year, and you can see the price action. Why don't you walk us through a little bit about it here? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure, Boris. Yeah, so. Earlier I mentioned about the the resistance turn support and vice versa. And over here, you could actually see it on Bitcoin happening at the region of 3,000 to about 40,000. And in fact, this level has actually acted as resistance once early in the year. It was in January, and we saw it again in June, right, which was 6 months after. And in fact, it actually became the support right about August, and that was the confirmation, right, that this was the the resistance turn support. And we saw it again in September, right, right before that leap up back to the all-time highs. And so in the past week, we saw the pullback all the way back to this same level, right, at about 42,000, 43,000. And I actually drew it as a kind of a range because in the real world, prices don't necessarily flip from an exact price point, and sometimes it may be difficult to be very precise on our buy orders and things like that. So I like to draw ranges and zones when it comes to horizontals. So you can see that.
I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that. Can we just talk a little bit about that? Yeah. Because is there a science to how you draw those ranges? Because I see one range a little fatter, the other range is a little skinnier. Is that are there key points you're basically trying to incorporate into the range, or is that just simply two different charts?
Awesome question, Boris. Yeah. So in defining the range, I try to look for the key points of reversal. It could be a candle wick, or it could be a candle body. And I basically just try to align the zone to that candle close or the candle wick.
Right.
over here you could see in January it was aligned to the close, and in February 26 it's towards the wick bottom. So it's really a matter of getting that as precise as possible. But of course, in the higher time frames, as we see, it could kind of fluctuate. So if we look at this weekly chart, it's still kind of holding up well, right? We are getting the wicks of the candle ends, and that's how we kind of determine that range. But of course, you know, in this chart itself, there's these levels at all different kind of price points. So using a single line might be kind of difficult, right? So a kind of zonal kind of range is kind of helpful as well.
Right.
So you could
Right.
buy the top of that range, and you could also buy the bottom of that range and position yourself necessarily, right? Perhaps at the top you could buy less, and at the bottom you could buy more, and that will kind of lock in and secure your position as the price comes down and tests this range. Yeah.
Right. Now, so question to you. Are you a confirmation trader or just a straight up, price level trader? So in other words, in this particular
Right.
case, Bitcoin coming down into the range, do you wait for, and this is a weekly candle, do you wait for a Greek weekly candle bounce? You wait for a bounce candle, or do you just go, I'm going to, this is my level. I'm going to be buying at support with a relatively, tighter stop as a result of it?
Yeah, great question, Boris. Actually, I would think that I prefer looking for confirmation. So, it's typically quite psychologically difficult, right, to buy at the dips. Even though sometimes we have the lines marked up. I just like to have one candle extra, perhaps on the weekly. It could be a couple of daily candles or even 2-day candles to actually confirm the bounce before I actually commit to the trade. So
So you
I
want the
kind of,
bounce. So
yeah,
I'm sorry, I just interrupt you, but I'm just curious. I see that you had these charts on daily, 2-day, 4-day, weekly. Like
yeah,
I haven't seen that kind of a. Usually people go, daily, weekly. Why this
right,
intermittent structure?
right. That's also a great question. So the daily is a price action within 24 hours, right? And so we have 7 days in a week. So it's kind of difficult to find a time frame that's kind of like a midweek time frame, where you have one candle every couple of days. So I
Right.
decided to incorporate this 2-day as well as the 4-day charts
Huh.
into my trading view, so that I kind of get a balanced midterm view of what's happening. All right.
Right.
Yeah, I consider 2-day and 4-day kind of like a midterm still. Yeah, and daily is kind of like a short term. All right.
So
So
I find that very interesting
yeah,
because crypto is the only true 24/7 day market in the world. It's the only capital market. As a matter of fact,
right.
those of you who are watching, you may be seeing a lot of news. I'm very much convinced that maybe not next year, but the year after that, sooner than later, every market in the world will be 24/7, simply because crypto is just creating such competition for
Exactly. Yeah.
capital markets. And what that's so interesting, and why June's 2-day, 4-day charts are so interesting, is because if you have a true 24/7 market, you could use a daily, weekly, because everybody is used to the 5-day week. So it's not that much of a variance between a day and a week. But when you go to a 7-day time frame, that's a long, long time. So using a 2-day and a 4-day is a very interesting, innovative
Mm,
new way
yeah.
at looking at trend turns, bounce candles, all sorts of price action in a more complete but granular manner. And it's all a function, I think, of just the nature of the crypto market, which is a truly global, 24/7 market that we've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, Boris, you're spot on that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about. Actually, you know what? Should we? Let's talk a little to Alejandro for just 1 second. I'm going to do to challenge number 2. I don't want to press you guys for time, but Alejandro, you're obviously much more of a programmatic trader. You run a lot of systems. You were telling me you have 6 tokens, 5 systems, something like that. Is that a 30 possibility matrix according to my grade school math?
For my portfolio, personal portfolio that I run right now,
Yeah.
it's 6 symbols, so 6 coins or
Right.
pairs, and
Right.
out of those, they are 5 different algos that are running there. So it's only one algo per coin, but it's out of a possibility of 5 algos. It's there. So I'm
Now,
only
do
running
you
one
have
at a
wait?
time.
It's one at a time, so it's not like you could have all five
Yeah.
algos on all six. Because so the maximum you don't have like 30 algos at one time running.
No, right now, no. Mostly because doing the backtest optimization and uh, work forward testing of that, it's a lot of effort. So we started with a smaller portfolio, and now we're actually
Right.
in the process of making a bigger portfolio, which is potentially 10 assets. Also, in futures for cryptos, and actually most futures, you cannot hedge. So if
Hmm.
you have multiple algos giving different signals, it becomes pretty messy managing your trades, because one algo may be okay, close all my
Right.
trades, and their algo
Right.
may be okay, let's go short. There one half an hour later, your counter algo, let's go long.
Right.
Then it's a bit complicated to know,
So the
who
only way to
opened
do that
what.
is to have two separate accounts. You'd have to have a long
Yeah,
account and a short account, right?
yeah,
Um,
or just one algo per crypto, and you
one algo
diversify
per
by
crypto.
adding more cryptos.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm curious. Just from your back test to your real test, is having just one choice. So you have this, you have these six coins. And you have all these different possibilities of how you want to trade them. But because you're forcing yourself to choose one choice, is that producing better results or worse results than if you just simply let every algo trade? Like I'm sure you run back tests against it,
Yeah.
so you could see how if you ran everything, how it would have performed versus your choice of single one. How does that work? How's it looking to you?
Yeah. Due to the risk management that we use, it is similar to a certain point, but you have a lot less risk of potential over optimization of strategies, because let's say you had 6 strategies. If
Yeah.
you started and then you do the optimization and the backtest, but you didn't put that much effort in the process, or you simply got unlucky, because as algo traders, we are always trying to minimize the possibility of over optimization, which, for
Right.
people that are out there that don't know
Right.
what
Which
over
is just
optimization
basically
is,
cherry picking in plain English.
exactly.
Yes.
It is
Right.
just you fitted your data, your trades to the data, and it works nice. But anything different happens to what happened in the past at all, and then it just dies and it goes into a drawdown, and the strategy doesn't work. So
Yes.
we always have that risk as algo traders, and we can only mitigate it, but we can never eliminate it, because we do not know if by chance we unluckily passed all of our tests, block forward and that everything looked good up until that point, and then it doesn't work. So it decreased our risk of that. So I actually checked them in the
So
system that
sorry
we
to just
use.
understand. By staying to one single algo, it decreases your risk because you don't have the um,
Yes,
uh,
because since we had so many different
right,
strategies, and they were originally optimized in Bitcoin
right,
we had a
right,
higher risk of over optimization. For the other strategies, it was lower, but
right.
due to market conditions changing when they were back the originally created strategies, which was in February, March this year, to now, we have seen different market conditions, different volatilities, and more ranges now. Some of those strategies were really, really good only in strongly trending environments.
Right.
So during
What
the
a
past,
surprise! A
yeah,
strategy only works optimized for the market condition that it's designed for, and once market condition doesn't work, the strategy dies. What a surprise
yeah.
about systematic
So
trading.
the
Um,
ones that
well,
are standing out now or are still
right,
alive now are the ones that are more robust, and they do great
right.
in strong trending markets, but they manage themselves and don't take too much trades
Overall,
during this
that's
type
right.
of
Very good. All
ranges.
right, gentlemen. Well, let's move on to our second challenge. Alejandro, we'll go to you first. Here, we want to choose something outside of the top five altcoins. So you can't choose Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, Tether, or Solana. So you can't choose the big boys. I guess you could choose Cardano if you wanted to, but and you already talked about Tron, but Tron is a little bit outside of your comfort zone as far as price action. But what do you like on the second tier of tokens that looks attractive to you? And let's take a look at your charts with whatever you're picking.
So yeah, I am just trying to see. I was looking. Okay, this one I have Bitcoin, which was right one, but Solana is also part of the tops. I don't really, I'm agnostic they are top coins or not. So I am more what has produced good returns.
Okay.
Right now, I don't see anything that good. Is AxiTrade that is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
AxiTrade.
Look at that
This
Axie.
AxiTrade that it took
Now, is that
before.
sorry? What time frame is that? That thing had us
Oh, this is, let me just make it big so everyone can see it. It is a 30-minute chart, but
30-minute chart. Yeah.
this
Wow.
AxiTrade
Look at
actually, it exploded probably because of the news, recent news of changing in breeding fees for the Axis. And now it went again. So this trade that the Algo would have taken
So
went
could you
stop
like
loss on.
walk us through this Axie trade just a little bit? What
Yeah.
is where's the algo taking that trade at the top of that candle?
Yeah, so in this case, this specific algo, it's looking
Yeah.
at what is called SSL channels, or
Right.
you can find it in trading viewing indicators as SSL channel in the
Hmm.
theory. And it basically looks at the highs and makes this green line based on the highs, the highest high of X amount of candles that you are looking back, and then the red
Right.
one and the lows. And what this strategy is doing is just whenever it breaks this SSL channel up, then you will be taking a trade only if you broke in the other side already. I don't like that much Axie for this type of trading. I have it here because it's
But
part
just
of the
just in
course.
this case, just so we understand, like let's go back to that chart slowly so people understand
Yeah,
this. So that green candle breaks through that green line, the SSL channel. Is the algo does the algo take the trade at that purple circle and kind of it basically top ticks the trade because
yeah.
it's a very
So this it's a new thing that I have been implementing, which is some systematic day, which is if it is too strong some candles, or in some cases because you may
ah
have
right
in TradingView on other platforms you may have repainting candles. So we
right
have a mode in which is whenever it happens, take a trade. Another mode which is wait for a candle close, and then because TradingView it's not like 24 in which everything happens intercandle. In TradingView, trades in the backtester, or at least this model, happen at the end of the candle. It will take a trade in the next candle open, basically. So
so it took a
I
trade there.
basically, yeah, basically came here for buy
I
in this
see.
case. But
Right.
the main thing that I was saying that this strategy follows this, basically just a breakout. And the other filter that, I mean, it may be pretty obvious, which is the background, trend the background. This
Right.
is just using moving average or a trend. I have an indicator, which is basically you put your higher time frame or your bigger trend bias, and you just plot it there. So if you are a discretionary trader, you can also use this method, and
Right. You
great
know what
if
I'm
it's
noticing, by the way, in crypto, that crypto is starting to act very much like other markets where news is no longer bought, it's sold. It starts to get faded. Um, like this
yeah.
Axie candle could just as easily be on a euro dollar or, non-farm payrolls or anything else. It's just, it's classic market maker, blow it up and take it down. It was really, really interesting.
Yeah,
So
and I think
sorry.
it is a lot more common to see this type of, exploding and then going down
Right.
in smaller coins or smaller projects, just because
Interesting.
you require a lot less money to do that. If you
Right.
have a lot of money, if the developer announces something, you can
Right.
cash out faster,
Right.
and you
Right.
affect
It's
the
very
market.
interesting. So it's almost like it almost argues that smaller coins may be better for mean reversion rather than continuation in some ways. Like you see these massive, like you see in this
Yeah,
candle, huge dips are bought, big spikes are sold, and you're on the right side of that trade when you're doing that. It's kind of interesting.
yeah.
So just to review, our second challenge. What are we doing? Are we taking Axie or Tron? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Or you want to take a
Would
minute? You want
take.
to take a minute? Let me go to June and make him do a trade.
Yeah, let's put some
How about we go
pressure
to
on June
June?
while
I'll give you a few minutes to scan the charts. June, you have an idea for what you want to do on your second trade um, off the non majors?
Yeah, I do. So
Okay.
typically, I like to trade coins that are of a larger cap. So this challenge is
Oh, Luna,
interesting to
our
me.
friend Luna. Holy cow, that was
Yes.
55 on Crypto One. Wow, that
Mhm.
thing just skyrocketed. Oh my god.
Exactly right. So Luna
I
would be
nearly
my pick
dropped an
for
F
this.
bomb here
Yeah.
because I can't believe this move. Okay. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So Luna would be my pick for this second challenge. We're actually coming off this ascending channel all the way since August to right about last month, November, and we saw this huge breakout outside of that channel about a couple of weeks back. And despite the Bitcoin, dump over the weekend, it has actually
it held.
recovered super
Super
well.
bullish.
And
Super bullish.
you can see that this is an ascending channel, which typically has a tendency to break down,
Right.
but it has actually broken up. And the top of the channel, right? You see this diagonal line at the top I've drawn, right? That actually acted as a resistance and support, right? You can see there were 3 prior points in this channel where it was tested as resistance, and now it has actually flipped into support and actually tested twice within a couple of days. And we got that huge bounce off the 4th of December, which actually closed green, right? While the rest of the market was actually deep in the red. And a couple of days later, we touched that candle, that line right again, and it actually put in a higher low, all right, and it stayed clear of that channel. So I'm still super bullish on Luna. I think it could drop back down into the top of the channel, and we could get a trade here from about $61 in the next couple of days, and I think it'll be off to the races. In the next week.
So let me ask you, because obviously, look at the volatility on this thing is enormous, and I mean, it clearly is bullish. I think it would, if I'm looking at this chart, it would have to go to 50 to kind of prove to make me feel completely wrong, because this kind of a setup really is just geared towards a shakeout. In other words, they can dip it to 60, shake all the weak hands out, and then bring it right back up. How would you trade this? Like in this case, would you give yourself a wider stop,
right,
or would you just stop yourself out and come back in once it resumes an uptrend? What's your strategy for this?
Right. In fact, because this uptrend is so strong, I would think that there's actually 2 buy opportunities. One is actually at the top of the channel, and the other would be at the bottom of the channel. So if in the case, it bounces off the channel, this trade would be great at about $61. But even if it, enters back into the channel, it still remains a kind of bullish posture, right? Because it's still kind of moving up across this channel, and I would think that it's possible. We come back down and maybe test 45 before the real bounce begins, right? So this could very well become a kind of a bull trap right here, where Luna is poking its head out of the channel. But I think
I agree with you. It's kind of interesting. So it's a short-term bull trap, but a long-term bull run. The fundamental story on Luna is that it's a strong competitor to Tether. It's got a sort of its own interesting stable coin construct without it, and that's why you're seeing so much excitement around this particular trade. So let's go back to Alejandro, because we're kind of running short on time. I want to make sure. Give me your second trade, my friend.
So even though the algo trade here that we just saw in Axie Infinity got stopped out, I will actually take a trade here because I'm looking at the price action. I had to revert to price action trading since,
there we go.
If we look at the other algos that I have, I only have good trades in Solana, but that's not part of this challenge. So I will revert to my price action trading origins, which is how I originally started and learned to trade. And I will take a trade here. I believe that this stop loss was a bit too tight, so I believe that it will not go lower than here 105, basically 105, 104. So I will be taking a long trade in Axie Infinity.
There you go.
Here. And in this case, I will probably be putting a target for half the position. It froze at about 120, more or less. Expecting a bigger spike.
Sounds good. I like that trade too. I mean, it's if you're looking at this chart, you see very clearly that this is a fader's, what we call fader's delight, where the exact opposite of whatever's happening. The immediate price action is the right trade. You buy the dips, you sell the rips, and you're on the right side of Axie most of the time. And as Alejandro said, there's a fundamental positive driver. So the market sell-off dip is very clearly going to be bought by some fundamental reasons. So it looks like it's a good trade for him to come in. Okay, so that's our challenge number 2, and because we're kind of ran it, it's so interesting with all the various strategies. Let's just go right into our challenge number 3 before we kind of talk a little bit about what you guys do. The challenge number 3 is best picks for the week ahead, sort of longer term charts into the end of this week and probably the beginning of next week before we mark the mark to the market end. Jun, what do you look at? You've been a swing trader. You said to me you like this 2 to 4 day time frame. What looks good to you on a 2 to 4 day time frame?
Right. Yeah. So right now I'm actually going to be flipping bearish, right? So my trade for this next 5 days is actually going to be a bearish trade, and so if you can see on the screen right now, yeah, I'm going to be selling sushi. All right. And
bad sushi. This is what's known as gas station sushi. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah. So sushi will be my pick, and once again, I'm using this resistance and support and vice versa to trade this. So we got this very clean, green zone on the weekly chart, as you can see here. So right from the start, right from the listing date on Binance last year, all the way to the bounce in July this year, around mid-year, and now we've seen a kind of a dip below this band, right? And possibly it could become the new resistance for sushi, all right? And we've seen that
this is the weekly, and now you flip to the daily, just to walk everybody slowly. Now you're on the daily, right? And within the daily, you could see it fail. You could see it failing at that line. You could see it failing at that line.
Exactly. So you could see that the green candle on the daily a couple of days back rejected on this green zone. So that will be kind of the confirmation, right? That the market is giving us that. All right, this price zone between $6 to $7 would be the new resistance for sushi. All right, people are going to be selling this. All right, and it's actually also coming in from a very strong downtrend, which actually in March of this year. All right, so in March, while all the other coins were surging, sushi actually began its huge downtrend, and I think that's going to be continuing. Right, over the next days at least, and as we close out the weekly candle, even though it's actually green now, but I think the next candle would probably be a red one. Yeah.
Right. No, I love the fact that the daily is showing a failure, which is kind of a great entry point because it's very low risk entry point. Love that trade. Okay, so we short sushi on a kind of a longer term swing basis. What about you, Alejandro? What are we looking for our final challenge? What looks good to you on a longer term charts? Oh, we lost his sound for a second.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you go, my friend. Okay, you're back.
For longer term, I will go to my longer term chart layout. My longer term here, we're talking about 5 days, but I'm still looking at a 1 hour time frame and 2 hour time frame, and I actually like. Here it is. Let me just preset it so it looks nicer. Okay.
So look Solana, at this, my friend Solana. Okay.
Yeah. So I actually like it for a short from the point of view of the algo. We had a bias change from bullish bias to bearish bias. The algo actually took the trade just basically after it changed the bias. It had this is the same SSL strategy that I showed before.
Right.
And so I like this one, and I think that due to the trailing of this could break down, in the next few days, break down, and we could see prices lower.
Interesting. Yeah, it was for sure the bounce, the post post weekend bounce has been very anemic. You could it died at 204s, hasn't really even been able to run up to 220. So it makes a lot of sense.
If you want to look it through a market strength, versus other coins, we can see that this is pretty much it went down with all the market as most of them did, but it didn't really consolidate above or in the middle of the move. It consolidated basically in the bottom of the move.
Right. While, it just it went down just as hard, but did not recover, and that shows relative weakness. And therefore, it's just it's so much easier. You just tip it over the edge it will, the sellers, the buyers are going to really give up sooner. So
Exactly.
interesting, great picks, guys. I love these. I love these trades. So perhaps we can. We've been so deep. This has been such a fascinating strategy session. We haven't even checked the dashboard. Let's just look at the dashboard, see where all the positions are and where all the trades are. Let's see if we can get up to going. So obviously, quiet markets. Pretty much just you guys are just at spread basis here. So we are long. Are we long? We're long Ethereum on June. We don't. I guess we don't see um, your sushi. Oh, because sushi is not trading on the platform. And what was the other trade that we had? The medium
Right.
trade.
Yeah, I actually took a limit order on both Sushi and Luna. Yeah, so it's
Oh,
not showing right now. Yeah,
you have limit orders. Yeah, well,
yeah,
no
yeah.
limit orders. There's no limit orders in trading. Battleless market, my friend. Limit orders are for little girls. Let's go in there. Come on.
Yeah, this
Market
is
orders
this is
coming
a
in.
challenge, a trading
Right,
battle.
right. Let's
Right.
go. Let's
Yeah,
So
go.
we're gonna mark them to the market with
Right, right.
Luna and sushi,
Let me just
and
drop it in. Yeah.
you mark it in all the way in. Come on, man up.
All
There we
right.
go. Um, we're not fine refining this. This is all out battle, my friend. But good. So and look, Alejandro's Axie is already working, so that's good. See, buying a dip always works in crypto. No, no, don't. Please, that's just a joke.
All
But
right.
it's definitely a mean reversion trade. So sounds good. All right, super. So that's the setup as we kind of go into the end of the show. But now I kind of just want to spend the last
Yeah.
few minutes talking about what you guys do. So let's start with Alejandro first of all. You've told us a little bit about your history, but tell us a little bit about what Blue Capital does. I know that you work with Etienne Crété, who we've had on the show on the Trading Battle. Tell us a little bit about your immediate plans and future plans of what you plan to do.
yeah. So at Blue Capital Trading, that's a company that I recently opened with my partner, which is Burp. We basically do tools for traders and algorithmic trading tools. So we have some tools for software that work together with other software in order to analyze strategies. Basically, you can analyze your whole account or portfolio and tell
Mm-hmm.
you, if you have, let's say you generated 50 strategies, 50 algos, you want to see which ones are the best to only trade the top 5 or the top 10. You can put that in a demo account, and then you put our software will analyze the stats from there and give you our list of ranking with different metrics, and you
Okay.
can filter them out and connect it to a free trade connector, and automate that process of back testing strategies. And once they pass criteria, they automatically get copy traded to your live account with
Mm,
there. So that's our flagship
cool.
tool, which is called Strategy Samurai. But the main
Okay.
thing that we do there, it's just we just started it as want to do something there, and it's just tools for traders and helping traders. But my main part in terms of education is helping at the end creds with Desire to Trade, where I
Mm,
am one of the mentors in Desire to Trade, most algorithmic trading and all the things
wonderful.
in the back end. So
And
yeah.
tell us a little bit about the charity that you're trading for today.
Yes. So the chart that I selected is basically Team C's. So that's pretty probably well known for everyone that has been in YouTube for the past month and a half.
Yeah.
Anyone that has been watching YouTube videos, a little bit big YouTubers have been doing that. So as the team at the Trading Battle knows, at the beginning I basically was, like, if it's possible, let's do Team C's. If not, anything related to like conservancy of the planet in general. That is
Right.
really what I want. In this case, Team Cs, just because uh, helping them will be a big milestone in some of the projects that they are helping. So
Right.
it's really important for them to get that funding
Yeah.
so they can pass from small scale projects to larger projects of cleaning the ocean and actually making something useful out of that trash that it's just polluting the
Yes.
waters and ends up
Right.
affecting us in the end, all of us. But the main thing for me is if we want to preserve the sea and the water, we need to take care
Yeah.
of it. I love scuba
Kind of,
diving.
kind of, kind of important. Kind of
Yeah,
important. Try. You can go 2 weeks without food. Try to go 2 days without water. Water is just as important for the planet as it is for us. I agree with you.
And
So,
it's something
great.
that every single living organism consumes. So if you have
Correct.
contaminated water,
Correct.
you have contaminated
Correct.
food in the end.
Like I said, try to go 2 days without water. Let's see how long you last.
Yeah.
All right, my friend June. What about you? Tell us a little bit about your plans for 2022, and what are you doing with trading crypto, and also tell us a little bit about the charity. So, what's going on in your plans?
Yeah, thanks, Boris. Right. So right now I'm with CryptoTrader SG, and we actually do education and training for the retail market. Educating
Mhm.
them about crypto options, crypto trading, crypto, even up to crypto DeFi, and we've got special programs tailored for these kind of specific topics that is in this wonderful world of crypto where there's so much to learn. Yeah.
Are
So
you
yeah.
are you finding that more and more people? I would imagine, especially in Singapore, that demand must just be like 10% more every month. It just seems. I would think that almost the whole population of Singapore at this point is already interested in crypto. Is that true?
I don't really have the exact numbers, but I can assure you that we are getting a lot of interest, especially this year, right? As we
Yeah.
see the market run up,
Yeah.
to all-time highs in Bitcoin, and even the recent one to the 68,000 was, generated a lot of interest. And generally speaking, in Singapore, there's already a lot of exchanges that have already got licensed, and they are already cleared by the local authorities. So the ecosystem is pretty welcoming right here, and I think more and more people are going to learn about crypto and get involved in crypto come 2022, which is next year. So we're really
Right.
looking to ramp up, our
Yeah.
education business, all right, as we head into blue skies right next year, and hopefully we get to see crypto continue to get adopted and picked up by institutions and of course the retail market, and
Yeah.
looking forward to
I
exciting
agree with you.
development.
I think 2021 was kind of the coming out year for crypto, where it became
Exactly.
truly accepted by institutions, and that means that it's going to be a real asset to stay. So it's wonderful. So, what charity are we trading for? We're trading for.
Yeah, so the charity that we're going to trade for is New Hope Community Services. So they're a
Okay.
local charity in Singapore. Yeah, and what they do is they actually have several sort of shelters around the island where they actually house the homeless or the disadvantaged, and they also
Mm.
even do training and skills training for people who need them, right? So one of our mentors also actually worked with them personally with mission trips to the region such as Myanmar, and they do a lot of those overseas programs as well. So with that, we kind of picked New Hope as the charity of our choice. Yeah.
Sounds good. It's a very Singaporean approach to charity, which is not only just to help people in deep need, but then also to help train them and give them practical skills. It's
Exactly.
just that
Yeah.
it's such a typically wonderful approach from Singapore of how you try to solve social problems. Really wonderful. Great, guys. Well, so it's been wonderful. You guys have really opened my eyes up to so many interesting um, ways to view crypto, to trade crypto. We could have gone for 2 more hours here in terms of discussing all the ideas. I feel like time just kind of flew by, but I hope everybody really enjoys this. Be sure, everybody who's watching us, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the Trading Battle. Remember, we're just starting out with the Crypto Battles, a whole new market dedicated Trading Battles dedicated strictly just to crypto. You're going to learn more and more and more as long as you subscribe to the channel. Please do so. This is just our number 2. I love doing these. Thank you, gentlemen, both for being with us today. We will update everybody as to how the challenges go, but I think all the trades on the show today really exemplary from certainly trading in a fundamental point of view, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it as much as I did. Everybody have a wonderful day in the markets today. This is Wednesday, midday. Let's hope we get a little volatility, but not too much, just enough to make our profits, but not to give us a heart attack. This has been a wonderful time. Guys, everybody, thank you again. June, Alejandro, one more time. Boris Schlossberg for a Trading Battle, over and out.